First of all, huge shout out to Fury Motors for letting us use the Kia Stinger shot in today's video. Go check these guys out. Great place to buy a car, great place to go look at some sweet cars too. They always have a sweet inventory. Go give these guys a like and check them out. Now let's get to the video.
What's going on, guys? Glad you joined us again. Today I'm really excited about this car. It's a car that has definitely intrigued me. I've seen a lot of videos on this car, read a handful of articles, and I'm excited to tell you why my opinion matters about the Kia Stinger GT.
Yeah, so what we have behind us, guys, is the 2019 Kia Stinger GT1, not the GT2, it's a GT1. You can go online and look up the specs between the difference of those two vehicles. It's mainly on the interior. But today we're going to give you our overall opinion on this Kia Stinger GT1, what we think about it compared to other cars that we reviewed, if we would buy one, and what we would buy instead of it if that's the case. So let's go ahead and get started with the video.
Come on! Alright guys, so just doing kind of a brief walk around of the exterior of this car. Now let me note, if you did not know, this is the counterpart of the Genesis G70. So you will start seeing some of the same styling cues. The way they integrated the safety feature in the grille here to match all the same design they have going on is great. There's a lot of cars where I think that stands out. You have to specifically look for it here. From a distance, you can't even tell that it's there. Even when I get to about 5 feet away, I have to take a minute and look for that black screen. The front of the car is great. It's got menacing looking headlights. There's lots of different air vents that are coming in. We have hood scoops. We'll take a peek and let you know if those are real. My guess is going to be they're not. So guys, continuing on the outside of this car, there are so many cues that catch me on the Kia Stinger that brand is going after the Germans with all they've got. They hit it spot on in some areas, and I think they are still coming up short in others. We'll touch on those. While we get going here, remember, if you like what you hear, if you want to hear more, or if there's a specific car you're interested in, please remember to hit the like button. Also hit that subscribe button. It may not mean a lot to you, but it does for us. Thanks for watching this video. Back to the Kia now. If you look at the mirrors folded in, that is a cue that the doors are locked. You can do that manually inside as well with a button. However, I love that as a feature on cars, letting me know that I can look back at my car and see that my door is locked. There's obviously other reasons for it, trying to get into a tighter spot, someone not running into your mirror when they're passing by. What Kia did with the trim on this car, as well as some of the Hyundai and Genesis models, you're going to see the same thing, this black chrome. I think it's absolutely stunning. I love the look of it. I love how it's not as bold as actual chrome. It gives a completely different, menacing look to the car. You're going to see it as you come around the car on the lower air outlet, as well as the mirror. Okay, now what we're looking at down on the fender as Austin went by there, that is an actual functional air outlet. We got the brake cooling vent up front, and from what we can tell, that's the only vents on the car that are actually letting air move through them. The ones on the hood and the ones we'll see towards the back of the car are just all for show. So guys, these headlights are really cool. They did a designing cue that a lot of people may not pick up on. Check out that sweet honeycomb lights that come on with the headlights or with the turn signals, as well as when you unlock your car with Kia's pretty sweet looking keyless entry. Now, I do believe this is just plastic. It's not actually leather, but hey, it's the thought that counts, right? If you didn't notice, the mirrors come out. We have turn signals on the mirrors as well. You go and look at the C classes and the A5s, the S5s, that middle of the road, the BMW 3 Series, okay, the 5 Series. There's so many Qs on this car that are just like those, including the drivetrain. How many cars out there now are going with a twin turbo V6 that's putting in the mid to high 300 horsepower range? This Kia GT1 is no different. We're right in that neighborhood.
So we've now moved around to the back of the Kia Stinger, and we have some pretty cool design cues going on back here. The Stinger actually got its own cool logo here. I think it looks very sweet in this nice cool font that they kind of did here. It kind of almost tells me that there's definitely going to be another generation of this car coming. It's either that or they went way far into thought in this car. But with the logo that this car got, I can only imagine we're going to be seeing another Stinger in the future. So while we're back here, we're going to talk about a few things. First of all, this taillight. It looks very cool. What would be even cooler if the whole thing lit up. Unfortunately, only this part here lights up in a nice LED, but it's kind of sad that the middle doesn't. It looks good, but it does not. And inside the taillight here, we actually have that honeycomb yet again. You can see it in the turn signal. We got a honeycomb design inside there, which also looks very nice. So as we move around to the back side of the car, we get to see these reflectors. These are mandated by car makers. It is absolutely needed, but it has been a kind of a very large talk in the car industry that not a lot of people enjoy them. And I have to say, I agree. It's kind of, they had a good thought going towards them, I guess. I mean, but it just doesn't look good. It really doesn't. If you got it in red, maybe it'd blend in a lot better. I've actually seen red ones that they blend in, but this ceramic silver color, they really do stick out. And it's, I don't know, it's your opinion. It's my opinion. So it's up to you, really. And the other thing while we're back here, I'm just gonna touch on this really quick. This is a disappointment. There's 4 exhaust tips back here, and it's really disappointing, if you want me to be honest. It doesn't sound good. It really doesn't. There's not a lot of sound to it. Actually, from the factory, there is sound being put through the speakers that they leave on that you can shut off and everything, but it's pretty disappointing. You can take a listen now. So we just moved off the back of the car, and we're going to talk a little bit about a few small features on the side. Right off the bat, you notice that we have Brembos on all 4 corners. That is right, we have Brembos on all 4 corners in a Kia. That's a first, isn't it? So now we're going to move up to the top. We have a fin up here, which is for the satellite radio, but it's nice that they put a little design into it. Gives it a nice little look. And up here we have a nice looking sunroof. You're all excited, you get your big panoramic. Oh wait, stops about right here. So unfortunately, it's not that big of a sunroof, but it does look like it from the outside. Either way, it's very nice to have.
Again, guys, just getting into the Kia, there's so many things about it that have the German counterpart integrated in it. The steering wheel lifts up and the seat moves back as you get out of the car. You get in the car and start it, and the steering wheel comes down and your seat goes back to your position. German cars have been doing it for years, right? There are just so many things. If you covered this up and told someone to get in this car, having them sit in the back seat and cover this up and look around, someone's first impression would think this is either a Mercedes, and I say Mercedes specifically, I know Audi has them as well, because of the circular air vents. The whole dash layout is straight from the German counterparts. Like I said, the material is lacking. I mean, this is all plastic. It is a softer plastic, but it definitely feels like plastic. I could be wrong on that, but boy, it looks like it to me. It looks like textured plastic. Same as the steering wheel. You have this beautiful looking steering wheel, and then it just gets really cheap looking right in the middle here. This particular model, GT1 Kia Stinger, is loaded with options. There probably are not a whole lot of options that this car doesn't have. Everything from the lane keep assist, which is controlled over here on the left-hand side of the steering column, to the Harman Kardon stereo system. The stereo does sound good. It's a good quality sounding stereo. We have heated and cooled seats. We have a heated steering wheel along with your auto stop start feature. You also have your parking assist. One of my favorite features, as corny as it is, we have it on our GLC 43, is the auto brake hold. Now, I actually like Kia's setup more than what is in our Mercedes. Our Mercedes, you come to a stop and you push the brake pedal down more or less as hard as you can. That'll then hold the car in place until you hit the accelerator again. It sounds corny. I know it is not needed. However, I do use it often. It's great just to give your leg a break if you're at a drive-through, if you're in traffic, if you're waiting for a train. It's great. The way Kia has their setup is you turn the feature on or off. It'll illuminate on the instrument cluster that the auto hold feature is on. Now, every time you come to a stop, it will just automatically hold the brake. If you disengage that feature, the car will obviously roll. The more you look around, at first glance, this car looks awesome in here. The more you sit in it and take it in, unfortunately, I hate to say it, but the Kia kind of comes out a little bit. I would own a Kia. I have owned a Kia in the past, believe it or not. However, it is still a Kia. I don't know when they are going to overcome that hurdle of being a Kia. Take a look at the shift knob. It is all plastic. Pushing the buttons, they feel like the same Kia buttons did 5 or 10 years ago. I know that's slightly a dramatic statement, but it just does not feel as pleasing as the German counterparts. However, the cost savings, it might be worth it. Let's take a peek in the back. Well, guys, again, I'm really comfortable on the front seat. I like the feel of the driving position. It has great choices for lumbar and forward and back. The seat controls are good. You can get comfortable in this car. Let's see how the back seat feels. I'm 6 feet tall. I weigh 220 pounds, just to give you a reference. The front seat remains where I was comfortable sitting in it. It feels sporty back here. This is my first time getting back here, right? Now, it feels sporty. The one thing I'm finding odd, believe it or not, is I have sandals on today and my feet are like wedged under the front seat. So I can't imagine if you had any sort of boot or tennis shoe on, how that would feel, because it just, there's not a lot of room down there. That's probably because of the low sitting position. Maybe I have the seat down, but that is something I'm observing that I don't know that I've observed a lot in other cars. As far as the legroom goes, there's plenty of legroom back here. Could definitely spend a good amount of time sitting back here at 6 feet tall with a 6-foot driver in front of you. There's a center armrest that comes down that's comfortable. The headrest in the back are adjustable. They come up. And we have that sweet sloped roof line going to the trunk. Let's see what that looks like. auto up. It does not look like we have an auto down on this Kia, okay? So we have the removable lid there and ample trunk space. Because of the sloped back, you're gonna have a hard time getting anything with great height in here with the lid in place. I would assume we're gonna see a lot of cars with that lid taken out for that very reason. There's a good amount of room back here though. It's a similar design to our GLC 43. I keep going back to that because I can relate fully to it, and I do see a lot of similar design cues as well as interior features with that car. So by chance, if you are in the market for something like the GLC or the GLC Coupe or the X4 Coupe or the sedans, this obviously is a sedan. It is not considered an SUV. This might be a good option if the other ones are out of your price range.
Hey guys, now that Todd's finally done talking and I can get a chance to actually say something, we're gonna talk about how I feel about the interior and sort of the technology inside of it. So first of all, right off the bat, one of the things that kind of upsets me, because I know this car's competitors, being German, is I know that the Audi, I know that the Mercedes, and I also know that BMW have a way that you can communicate with the display without touching it. And a lot of people really do like touching displays, and I personally don't. You have to be driving and have to sort of lean forward to touch it, and you get fingerprints on it, and it really does bug me. And I just really wish there was a way to control it from down here. Of course, you can hop to certain things throughout here, but you can't really slide through or anything without touching the display. I do wish that there was a way that you could do so. Now that we're actually in the display here, we're gonna sort of look through some of the stuff. We have our menus down here. We get a nice, very smooth transition through here. Very nice display, no glitches, no nothing, which is nice to see. Let's kind of hop into the setup here, see if there's anything cool. So let's look at the vehicle. One of the things that I was talking about earlier is the exhaust. So we can look right here, and there's actually an active engine sound. It's currently on enhanced, and it kind of brings through a little sound through the interior that doesn't sound really any better than the exhaust does in the first place. So we can shut that off.
I have to say that the active exhaust got me. It got me. My first impression getting in the car was, hey, this sounds good. And as I drove it a little more, I realized something wasn't quite right. So we actually looked it up to see if that was an option, and sure enough. So that tells you, with a trained ear or with time in the cabin, you can definitely tell that is not a real sound. When you turn it off, it is dramatic.
That's true. Thanks for making that point, Todd. Now back to the display. And also the other display. There's two of them. There's a display in the middle of the instrument cluster as well as this one. So in there, I just sort of briefly went into those settings. You get those very minimal vehicle settings, sound settings. There's nothing too major. You get your normal stuff. There's nothing special about that. Nothing special about the maps or anything really. It kind of, if you want me to be honest, still compared to those German competitors, this is lacking in display and options and that stuff. It sort of looks a little bit cheap compared to those. Well, it is. It's a bit cheaper in price as well, so that's what you're paying for. Now as we move on to the middle of here, we don't get a whole lot of super cool things. One of the things I really like is as you change your lights, it does pop up on the display to let you know what lights are on. That way you're not just flicking through here and you can't see it because the wheel's blocking it, so it's nice that it shows that. Same thing with the wipers. Shows you what mode you're in, high, low, auto, off, which I think is nice.
So the first feel of the car, just getting in right away, not even having time to take the Stinger in, I literally just hopped in the car and started driving. I did not take a moment to look around at anything, and my first impressions are, I almost feel like I'm in my Mercedes. I notice offhand that there's a lot more plastic, but as far as the feel of the seats, the stitching on the dashboard, it's definitely got a unique engine note that's I don't know that I've heard before. The exhaust sound, the engine sound, it's something new. I'm curious to see what we're going to come up with here. I'm liking what I see so far. Let's see what she's got. Again, Kia Stinger GT.
So guys, we've now come to the conclusion of this video. We have driven it, we've checked out the interior, checked out the exterior, we've kind of looked at some of the features, and after doing all that, in my personal opinion, versus the competitors, this isn't there yet. But for Kia's first shot at a performance car ever, a performance sedan, it's they did a good job. They really did. There's not many mistakes, but there is some, and I feel in the next couple of years Kia will catch up to the German brands, if not surpass them, if this is what they came out with right away.
So yeah, Austin had a lot of good things to say that I agree with when comparing the Stinger to the 3 Series, the 5s of the Audi world, the C's of the Mercedes world. I don't even know that we can do that yet. They are trying and they're doing a good job. Now remember, this car starts in the low $30,000 range and can get all the way up into the low $50,000 range, which is where this specific model sits. With that, if you are comparing this to a BMW versus the Kia, the price savings you're going to find, you're probably going to be disappointed if you're comparing the quality. However, if the money is an issue, or if the competitors are out of your budget, I would say absolutely buy this. I give it a thumbs up. I support that. I think you're going to enjoy it and have a fun car. Just know what you're getting. Know that it's going to come up short from the BMWs and Mercedes in terms of quality, both in the interior and just the general drivability. One area Kia definitely has the Germans beat on is the warranty, and that might be worth it for you.
Thank you guys again for joining today. I'm really glad that you guys watched this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please like and subscribe. Comment down below what you guys think of the new Stinger. Comment down below what cars we need to review next. I really do personally like the Stinger. I think it's designed great, and I'd like to know what you guys think of the design as well. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys next time.